Welcome back everyone to my channel. This is me, Prem. A comment that I receive quite often, probably every other day on my channel is, "Sir, what's your salary?" Now I know salary is a topic which everybody is interested in because you also want to go on the journey as well and want to see how much you can earn down the line. So as a context, I am senior manager at one of the big four firms in UK, and I have been a senior manager for 2 years. And if you just Google, senior manager salary in big firms, you will see a range from 80,000 to 120,000 pounds for senior manager, depending on grade, seniority, role, etc. This is sort of a common range. But what I really wanted to tell in this video is, yes, I am within that band, of course, because I'm not an alien. I'm one of those. And then what I want to tell is, how I started, where I started, how the salary grown year on year, and what has my career trajectory, progression, and everything in this video. So anybody who's a chartered accountant, who's working in audit firms, who is on the CA, CCA, sort of similar fields, accounting, and looking through the same journey, I think this is just probably watch a video in terms of, number one, understanding what's going on, how it works, and then secondly, probably if you're curious, of course, in terms of, how much I am earning, or somebody who goes through this route of articleship and then jobs, how much they earn. So I think that's just all in this video. So starting with 2014, which is almost 12 years from now, I started my career in 2014 in EY as an audit trainee. So first month, in October 2014, when I got into EY as an unregistered trainee, I was being paid 1,000 rupees per month only because I wasn't registered. So for 15 days, I got paid 500 rupees only. That's my first salary. That's quite, I feel like shame right now earning that. But again, it was the first salary, 15 days, 500. The next month, I got registered. I passed my exams earlier, and then I was moved to 9,800 rupees per month in Pakistan as a registered trainee. So in November 2014, I was earning 9,800 rupees. Now after that, the salary increase as per CA Pakistan was dependent on how much exams you pass during your articleship period. So basically, the first exams was supposed to happen after 18 months. So in 2016, I passed my first batch of exams and my salary increased to 90,600 rupees per month. After 6 months again, I passed more exams and then my salary increased to 28,000. Again, basically by early 2017, I was earning a salary of around 45,600 rupees in Pakistan as a qualified CA articleship trainee. I qualified with my articleship within 2.5 years, and then I was doing my articleship last year on this salary. In between that period, I went to Dubai for secondment in 2017, early 2017. From Jan to April, I was being paid 3,000 dirhams for 3 months, alongside of course residence and if you're working on weekends, etc. But that was like minimal. Again, 3,000 AEDs per month, I was earning that. And then my articleship ended. I did not stay a lot in firm, and then I moved to industry in Pakistan. So 2018, somewhere mid in the 2018, I moved to HPL, which is one of the largest commercial banks in Pakistan. There I got quite a decent package actually, probably around 160, 170 base, and then you got bonus, and then you got pensions and other benefits as well. So quite decent in that time, like 6 years back from now, I got that. I did not like that job generally. I came to UK. So in 2019, July, I came to UK. Now in UK, I came on a job as an assistant manager too, which is quite common in different firms. Firms hire on AM level, especially the top big four firms in UK sponsor from abroad on AM level. So I was paid 45,000 pounds per annum. In UK, we quote salary in annum and gross basis. So 45,000 pounds per annum was a standard salary in Deloitte at the time, and different firms were paying from 45 to 50,000 between as an AM2 or equivalent in different firms. So I got that in 2019, and the firms used to pay a top-up allowance of 500 pounds separate as well, but that's not a lot to talk about, right? So in 2019 that happened, and in 2020 I got promoted to AM3. In 1 year I got promoted to next level in September 2023, and my salary increased to 48,000 only. So just 3,000 increment. Not a lot, but again, at the AM level in different firms, you are not really playing with a lot of range here. You can go 50, 51, but you can't really go a lot more beyond that, because then it tries to touch manager's salary range, and that's just not happening. Now after that, in June 2020, basically I became a manager. So first year I became AM3, then next year I became manager. So the manager, the base salary was 60,000, and then you got an allowance of 5,000 around. So 65,000 was basically the salary as a manager. Quite a decent jump from an AM salary, because AM was like 48, now you got 65, quite a big jump. And if you put on a scale, a bar somewhere, a chart, it's quite a decent jump. 65,000 in 2021 June, and then I become a second year manager, again 3,000 increment, 68 for example. And then next year third year manager, again slight side increase of 3,000 pounds. Again, as I said, you are going up, but then you are touching a senior manager kind of area, so you won't be expecting a lot of salary. So I got like 68,000 salary plus the allowance that we discussed, like 5,000. So not bad, 73. Then next year, basically, which is June 2024, I become a senior manager at Deloitte. I used to work here, of course, and now I have been a senior manager for 2 years. So first year senior manager salary I got was like 80,000 pounds, and again there's an allowance of around 6,000, so 86,000 pounds as a first year senior manager. Now different firms, different departments can range from 80,000 to 100,000, generally across big four firms, top firms. And then after that, 2025, 2026, salary keeps increasing again and again. But as I said earlier, when you start growing that role, and then you're touching near the next role, which is AD or director generally, then your salary stops getting high rises. Then just keep getting small increments. Currently literally in line with the range, as you can see literally on any website. Glassdoor, for example, senior manager salary is around 80,000 to 120,000. I'm literally sitting in between that. That's quite common. And but the context wise, I have spent around 6 years in UK, and the salary of, for example, even if you take a 90,000 benchmark, 90,000 benchmark is almost 3 times the UK's national average salary, and probably 2.5 times London's average salary. So one of the fantastic salaries. I know the growth isn't that much, and everything, but if you think of whole population, a growth in this career, especially for somebody coming from abroad, and not knowing everything and starting to grow their own career, and build their career here, it's a phenomenal growth, and the salary is quite decent if you just compare to general population here, because a lot of people are not earning enough. London is a shit expensive city, so you need to make sure you are earning decent, especially if you have a family. So yeah, somewhere around 80 to 100,000. Like, again, not gonna give a specific number right now, but again, maybe in future I'll be reflecting on what I did in 2025, 2026 as well as I grow up in my role. So I think that's probably all my journey in terms of salary increments. If you see if you try to plot a graph there, you will see increments. The major increments are of course coming from articleship to my HPL job, and then from HPL job to coming to UK, and then from AM3 to manager, and then from manager to senior manager. Those are the biggest jumps. So I think the purpose of really saying this is you won't generally be getting a lot of increments during your career, especially year on year due to inflation. Inflation, most of the companies don't even care. They just care, what's others paying. So the major increments are coming from the promotions and not in great salary increments. Hopefully this helps, and thank you so much for watching.